Welcome in, Matthew.
How's it?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Are you a believer and are you at least 18?
I am at least 18 for sure. And what do you mean by believer?
But do you believe in any sort of a deity?
Yes.
Awesome. And which deity is that?
The God of the Bible.
Awesome. So you're probably a Christian or a Jew?
Christian, yeah.
Fantastic. What would be your best evidence or your best argument for why the Christian God is real?
So evidence-wise, I would say that creation itself points toward having a creator.
How?
Because there's organization, there's an understood flow to things, the water table, the water cycle, the ways that the seasons come and go, the way that Earth provides for that which it maintains.
Okay, so you're suggesting the Earth is evidence of intelligent design, fine-tuning type of thing?
Sure, yep.
Cool. So is it finely tuned when a hurricane rolls through the Gulf and executes 1,000 people?
By finely tuned, what do you mean by that as in a hurricane?
Did God create the Earth with humans in mind?
Yeah, for sure. He created it.
Sure. Did he create nature?
Yes.
Did he know that nature was going to result in earthquakes and volcanoes and hurricanes and tornadoes?
Sure.
Okay. So then the God that you believe in knew that there would be untold amount of people innocently suffering through natural disasters. Did he have to make the world in which natural disasters would exist?
Did he have to make? He chose to make.
Sorry about that. TikTok wanted to see if I was still online. Okay, so I'm glad you actually just said it. So he chose to make the world in that way. Okay. So do you believe in a God that's all good?
Yes, I believe in a God that's all good. Yep.
Okay. Do you think an all good God would cause unnecessary suffering?
No.
Okay, so then God can't be all good because he chose the route of unnecessary suffering with natural disaster.
I think your word was very, very well chosen there. Unnecessary.
Well, obviously, yeah, words have meanings.
Sure.
Okay, so did God choose the route with unnecessary suffering?
No, we did.
Okay, so we created nature.
No.
Okay, so God created nature. So how did we create natural disasters?
Because out of our choice to sin, we disobeyed what God had in perfection, and thus brought due process to ourselves and the judgment of God on ourselves.
Okay, the judgment of God. Well, the judgment of God entails natural disasters, right?
I don't believe that every natural disaster necessarily could be considered the implementation of God's.
Well, we're just talking about the
judgment.
fall of man. We're not talking about every. Okay, so you're saying the judgment of God because of the fall of man resulted in natural disasters, right?
I believe that the judgment of God came to us in the garden because of our choice to choose something other than Him.
I know. I'm just asking about the natural disasters. After the fall of man, God rearranged things in which natural disasters would be a thing, right?
God arranged where natural disasters would be a thing.
That's what I'm asking. Yes. After the fall,
I'm trying to wrap my mind around the words that you're using. So I repeat them back, not out of just other than me trying to fully wrap my mind around exactly what you're saying. So would a holy God basically bring justice to bad situations?
That's not my argument. I don't think you want to try getting ahead of my argument. You might as well just stick with me. So,
well, I mean, that's pretty condescending, but okay, yeah, sure. So would God enact punishment toward humanity? Yes.
That's 100%. Not my argument. You keep trying to make my argument for me, and you don't know what my argument is.
Well, you keep doing the same thing. You're sitting there saying, these ideas of.
Do you want to debate my argument, or do you want to debate the argument that you wish I had?
Well, and what you're doing is
Okay, I'll just give you the argument since you are trying to guess what it is rather than just listening to it. So my argument is that after the fall of Adam and Eve, God made the decision in which the world would have natural disasters. Do
Yes.
you agree?
Yes. 100%.
Okay, was God mandated to do that, or did he
No.
choose to do it?
He chose to.
Okay, so the Adam and Eve sin has nothing to do with this. God still made a decision that after they ate the fruit, he was going to make natural disasters a thing.
No, the result of sin is a broken world.
Okay, who decided the consequences of the sin?
The brokenness of the world.
No, who decided the consequence of the sin?
Who decided? We did.
Wrong, God did. Matthew, when your children need disciplined, did they decide what the discipline was going to be, or did you decide what the discipline was going to be?
No, see, what you're saying is that
I don't know why that's so hard. Matthew, did you decide the discipline that you're going to give to your children, or did they decide what it is?
Is this an argument, or is this just you diatribing?
No, I'm trying to get you to understand my argument because you don't actually understand my argument. So
I do understand your argument. You're trying to say
Okay.
that the holiness of God and his ability to enact justice whichever way that he chooses to, which he can choose to enact justice any way he wants to, is somehow subject to your authority of saying that that's good or bad. How do you even
wrong?
have the
It's
ability-
actually
say
the
wrong,
argument.
that is exactly what
It
you're
is
doing.
wrong
You're making an
because
indictment toward
you already agreed with me that in all good, all
Now you're
loving,
talking
all
over me rather
because
than
you
allowing
already
me to
agreed with
explain
me that
myself.
in all good,
You don't want
you
this
already
argument.
agreed with me that an all good God wouldn't cause unnecessary suffering. Do you retract that statement?
You muted me.
I didn't mute you. Hanji did, but that's
muted
fine.
you.
So, Matthew,
Okay, so it's okay for you to mute people when it gets to a place.
Host is trying to make a point. You need to be
I'm
quiet
trying to
and
make a
listen
point, and the
in
host
order
won't
for
let me
you
make
to
the point.
respond.
Matthew, your point is off topic. We're talking about natural
No, it's off topic
disasters.
because it's inconvenient to you.
It's not inconvenient. I promise we can talk about God's justice next. I'm asking why God had to make natural disasters after the fall. Did
It
he?
is a result of our sin.
But
he
did-
not have to make it.
Okay, so he didn't have to do it, did he?
It is a result of our sin. So yes, punishment comes in because it's a result of our sin.
Okay, and who decided what the result would be?
We did because we chose to sin.
Okay, then show me in the Bible where it says that Adam created natural disasters and Adam created nature.
No, nature creates natural disasters because nature is
Oh,
broken.
okay,
because of
and
our sin.
who created nature?
God.
Oh, okay, so God created the natural disasters. I'm glad we can finally come to an agreement
Well, see,
on that.
no, you're conflating
So
something.
I'm not conflating anything. So Matthew, I don't think you understand at all what I'm saying. Adam and Eve
Thank you for
sinned.
your condescension. I appreciate your condescension.
It's not condescension, and now you're crying. So Adam and Eve sinned,
okay.
and God did something about their sin, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay, did Adam and Eve decide what God was going to do, or did God decide what God was going to do?
Through their actions of sinning,
Did-
they brought upon.
Did
Yes, they brought
God
upon
decide
judgment to
what God was going to do about the sin, or did Adam and Eve decide what God was going to do?
They brought upon the judgment.
That's not an answer to my question. Did God decide what he was going to do after the fall, or did Adam and Eve decide what God was going to do?
God enacted. The
Imagine
punishment
being
to-
a grown man and not being able to answer simple questions that a grade schooler could answer.
It was decided.
Okay.
It was decided from eternity past.
Who made the thank you. If it was decided by eternity past, then it was decided by God, wasn't it?
Sure.
Okay, so then the result of the fall, the consequences of the fall were God's decisions, right?
Yes, but it was because of our choice
That's-
to disobey.
It's irrelevant. We're not talking about whether or not Adam and Eve disobeyed or not. We're talking about the consequences for the disobedience.
Sure.
And you just admitted that the consequences for the disobedient were determined by God. Now, did God have to make the world after the fall, in which it would have natural disasters.
Well, period.
Did he have to create at all?
Did he have to create the world with natural disasters after the fall?
You didn't answer my
You didn't answer my question.
Because we're not
Did he have to
done
create-
talking. I know if I was in your position, I would run away from the line of questioning so fast because you're getting absolutely roasted so much that your wife is now in the background trying to talk over you. Do you want to put your boss on the phone?
Wow, dude.
Shut your.
There it is. There it is. Listen, she forgot to read. She forgot to read Timothy, where she's supposed to listen in quiet submission, and now he's teacupped.
See, I couldn't be in a relationship like that. You got me fucked up. Laugh it up, chat. Laugh it up, because it's the audacity for her.
No one likes to see their husband get roasted. So Matthew, to the point. Did God have to create consequences after the fall that resulted in natural disasters, or did he choose to do that?
So the
Matthew, I will not let you pivot until you answer my question.
I'm not pivoting.
You can
You're not
either
allowing me to
answer my question, or I will ask you 500 times. Did
You want a
God,
yes or no? Is
did
that what you're
God,
looking for? Is this yes or
did
no questions,
God,
or are you looking for arguments?
did God have to create natural disasters as a consequence of the fall, or did he choose to do it?
It is a natural consequence.
It's not. So it's a
So
yes or
you're
no.
saying nature doesn't exist. Now I get to ask a question.
No,
right?
you didn't
So
answer
you're
my
saying that
question,
nature-
Matthew. You're not running until you answer my question.
I just answered it.
Did God have to create nature after the fall or modify nature with natural disasters, or did he choose to do that?
Chose to.
Thank you. He chose to. Okay. So then by definition, he's either not all good, or maybe he doesn't even exist at all. Maybe nature isn't a product of a God. If God is all good and nature causes unnecessary suffering, then maybe he didn't create nature. Okay, so
Is that what you're saying? Is that God did not create nature?
no, what I'm saying is your God is a contradiction. You can't have an all-loving God, an all-just God that creates unnecessary suffering, which is why at the beginning of our conversation, I started by making you admit that being all good requires that you wouldn't cause unnecessary suffering. So now you're cooked.
We created the suffering. That's
Okay,
what
so
I'm saying. Our sin
we
the
created
suffering.
nature.
He chose the consequence, but we created it.
Okay, do innocent people die in natural disasters that didn't eat the
There's no one innocent.
that didn't eat the forbidden fruit?
There's no one innocent.
Okay, so then it's okay for God to indiscriminately execute anybody he wants to because everybody has committed a sin at least once.
Is God omnipotent? Does he know all things?
I don't believe so according to the Bible.
Okay, well, I mean that's fair. You can say whatever you like to.
Well, the Bible tells you
definitely
he's not
discuss-
in Genesis 22 and Genesis 18.
Okay, go ahead. It says that God's not omnipotent. Okay.
No, it says there are things that God doesn't know. For example, when he's visiting Abraham and Sarah, and he's telling them about Sodom and Gomorrah, he says that he must come down and see if the outcry against Sodom is as what it seems, and then once he inspects, he will know. Meaning, there's something he doesn't know.
No, no. You're injecting.
We'll just read it. These Christians never
okay.
read the book.
I've never met someone who likes to try and bait people into like anger the way that you do.
I think you're feeling angry because you're getting cooked. You got fire welling up. You're on the hot seat right now, and you don't know what to do about it. So
No,
he
that's
says
not
in
true.
Genesis
You
18,
just won't let me get a word in edgewise.
I must go down and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. So
Okay.
he just tells you right there
He tells me what?
that there's something he doesn't know.
He teacupped. I think his wife is making him a warm baby bottle for
I
the
think
crying.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Also, what are your thoughts on the whole? Because I was talking to someone about, I think it was John and Matthew, that they. Wait, did he fucking run away?
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. He's free. Be free.